Recently I finished playthrough of Inside and I decided to talk a little bit about the game and why I like it. So Inside is a platformer game released in 2016. It's made by Playdead, the same developers of the game Limbo from 2010, which is a really similar game. First, let's talk about design. It's supposed to be creepy, dark, mysterious. The colors in the game are subtle. As you may remember, first game Limbo had no colors, it was black and white. This game, however, has colors, but they are really subtle. Even though the game is more in a minimalistic style, the foreground and background have a lot of details, which makes every location look unique and special. The characters in the game are not really distinguishable. Almost all of them look pretty much the same, which makes the game even more creepy. Also, a really important element of the game is sound design. There's almost no music from what I remember. The sounds in the game are creepy, subtle, ambient, which makes the game more interesting. Now let's talk a little bit about the gameplay. So the puzzles in the game, which are the main gameplay element, they are not hard, which is good, but they're not also really easy. If you're playing the game for the first time, you will have to stop and think about what you have to do. But you won't spend too much time on it because they're not that hard. So you're not gonna be wasting much time, you're not gonna be frustrated with the game, but at the same time, it's not gonna be too easy. If the puzzles were too easy, the game would be boring and you would go through the game in no time. That's why I like the balance in the puzzles. They're not too hard and not too easy. They're also not really repetitive, so you have a lot of different things to do, which makes the game even more interesting. There's also a lot of interesting directions. I noticed that when you had to exit the facility you were in, there were some people that were actually helping you, and their interactions that they made were pretty interesting. I really liked them. I'm not gonna say too much about it, just not to spoil everything. Now a little bit about the story. So the game is not telling a story in a typical way. You're not meeting with every single detail of the story right away. You have to figure out the story yourself, which is also pretty interesting about this game. It's really hard to understand what's actually going on in the game story-wise. And there's really no conclusion at all at the end of the game. So you just have to decide for yourself what's the core of the story, what's the conclusion. That leaves a lot of room for theories, which is good. In conclusion, it is an incredible game with a lot of unique elements like the design and interesting gameplay that's not repetitive and also not too hard, which makes you like the game even more. The story, however, it's really hard to understand. It's not clear. There's not much you can understand just by playing yourself. That leaves, like I said before, a lot of room for theories, for different discussions, which is good for a game. So I think the game is great. I don't really have anything bad to say about the game. I don't think so. I had a lot of fun with the game. I didn't really understand the story, but that's just me being me. I really think the game is incredible. Just like the previous one, I would give it 9.5 out of 10. And I really recommend the game. If you haven't seen it, don't spoil yourself. Play the game yourself because you're gonna have a lot of fun time with it. That's all for the video. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.